Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading. And thank you for joining me today. I'm going to start by pulling an overall energy for your reading from my Animal Oracle deck. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. So we get Otter Spirit. You are never alone. Okay. Immediately when I see this card, I always think it reminds me of the Two of Cups. So perhaps a bit of a love energy, perhaps a partnership energy coming in straight off the bat. But let's see where the tarot takes us here. Okay. Okay. Seven of Air and Page of Air. Okay. So it's immediately I'm feeling there's a new perspective coming in on a situation that was kind of confusing, that was a bit of a runaround, you know, a bit of a kind of a mind fuck where nothing made sense. You were just kind of like, you know, like a wild goose. Oh, there's geese there. That's funny. I was gonna say a wild goose chase where just nothing was clear. You never knew where you stood. You never knew what was going on. So this could be that partnership energy. Okay. Coming in, but there's a fresh new energy, a fresh new perspective. So let's see what else this wants to say. Okay. Yeah, okay, so the Tower. So in this deck, it's called the Blasted Beach, but it's the Tower card, and so they're literally just falling out of this tree. And again, there's two. So yeah, I'm feeling that there was some kind of partnership situation that just wasn't all that clear, wasn't all that good, wasn't all that supportive, and there was a tower moment where it came crashing down. So this feels like in the past, this is something that, you know, this has been blasted apart. Obviously has to do with partnership. The important thing is now there's all this fresh new energy. It's like the clouds have parted, you know, the cobwebs have been brushed away. So maybe you were in this situation for a really long time, and you know, when we're in an environment that's discordant and that's not honest and that's not connected to a pure channel, you know, it just we end up scattering our energy because we're trying to figure out, well, what does this mean? And like, well, you know, is it because of something I said? You know, we're just scattering energy, trying to figure out somebody else's discord, somebody else's lack of coherency. This is a card of coherency. You know, otters have that purity. There's a pure alignment. They're playful. You know, they're the inner child. They're the higher self. That's what this card always speaks to for me. What does it say? You were never alone. Okay, it's like that oneness principle where it's like when you're never alone. Why? Because we're all one. We're all united in this together. And when you're in that kind of higher frequency energy, you feel safe. You feel held. You know, everything is good. This is not that energy, and that sea energy. I don't feel that it was your energy. I feel that this is you. This is you. Inherently, you are that pure channel for source consciousness. You're connected to your higher self. You're connected to and tuned into and here for this this higher frequency timeline. This person was not. They're just not. I mean, it's like a karmic situation for you. So it's like they played their role. You know, they might even be, you know, a really good friend of yours from some other lifetime that you two chose for them to play this role for you as part of your awakening. And you know, there's always the deeper meaning and the behind, but in this lifetime, in this role in your life, they just weren't that. So anyway, my point is when we hang in that energy for a really long time, it can kind of drain us, and it can just kind of leave us disconnected from who we truly are, from what we normally have access when we're just in our own energy. So now that this has blasted open, okay, and you're just kind of out of that energy, now you're having, it's like, whew, you know, so this might be the exact moment that we're in right now, that you're in right now, where it's just all of a sudden, you know, it's like who you really are can rise up again, and you can see clearly because you're no longer under the influence of this one. You're no longer in that energy field. You're having a breath of fresh air. So let's see what else comes up here. Let me pull another one from this deck. Yeah, Temperance. Okay, so there's a bit of a healing energy going on with this, where you're with yourself. You're merging back into your own soul signature. You know, you're weaving your elements together. You're just allowing them to come back, and they're coming back very naturally. You're not really having to do anything. It's just by being alone and just by being removed from this energy. And you had to, like, this was kind of like divine intervention or grace. You may have been in this situation for a really long time and you couldn't get out just because whatever patterns you guys had going on, or maybe it just wasn't time yet. But this is the like divine timing, you know, where that has happened, and like what a beautiful thing. And so regardless of how you're feeling in this energy, you know, these two go together, where it's like you're just coming back to yourself. You're allowing, you know, the dust to settle. And I think this is the point of the reading, is that, you know, you are remerging with yourself. Let's see what card comes up. I just had this feeling about what, yeah, okay. So, all right, so 5 of Pentacles. So, you know, a bit of a left out in the cold feeling, you know, a bit of like it might feel pretty awful right now. It might feel pretty awful. In a sense, you know, it's like when we're in this energy, it can kind of be like okay, the analogy of like a drug too, or even though, you know, it didn't necessarily feel good, but it almost like it took up portions of your being or your mind that, like, when you're in this energy, they're like automatically filled, they're automatically healed, they're automatically tended to. But this configuration, you, in order to stay connected with yourself and in order to survive and feel good, you kind of had to like pretzel yourself. So whereas your energy before naturally and coming in again can be like this, it's like in this situation you had to do this to survive, and you had to do this, and you had to do this, and you had to do this, and you did that for so long, like kind of octopusing yourself just to survive. That now that you're out of this is why I brought up the drug analogy. When your brain and, you know, you get dependent on this other thing to it just gets rewired. It gets rewired around this thing. It's like you got rewired around this thing, and now that this has happened and you're back with yourself, you're in the process of coming back to your natural organic nature and soul signature, but it can feel like this. Because it's like it's been a long time, you know, you've kind of been outside of your, like, this empty house was like this. You've been a little bit separated. You've been separated from, you know, that natural flow, because this person probably made you be that way. This person probably, you know, wanted to fill up all those spaces so they could have, this is just the energy that I'm getting from this. It's like they wanted to fill up all those spaces themselves so that you were dependent on them, even though you had like this gorgeous, like, connection that you've had from the moment you incarnated on this earth, which is usually how these relationships are, you know, the empath, the one that's connected, and the one that feeds off of that, you know, and it's kind of like a rite of passage. It's part of the mission, part of what a lot of us just go through when we come in with really high frequency energy. We kind of have to go through one of these until our house is so empty, we're so devoid of our own spirit, that we manifest this tower moment. When this tower moment happens and we crack open, it cracks open this empty house so that our light can come back in. So it's really, I'm just kind of getting chills and getting a little bit moved. I know this journey as well. I have Scorpio North Node, so it's kind of like, it's how I grow. The Scorpio energy is how I grow. You know, that you know, these getting really kind of, I don't want to say lost, because again, it's a sacred passage and it's one that our souls chose, but it's like your soul being so deep that you chose to go into such, we could use the word dark, because when we get cut off from our soul, it's very dark, you know, and when there's a person doing that, playing the role to do that for us, right? For us, so we can crack open and flood in our light in a way that we never could before. When our light comes back in, there's a service in that. There's a service in that, because we couldn't have brought in as much light as we have unless we go through one of these initiations, where it's like pulling back the arrow in a way. Like we pull it back so far that when we let it go, it goes really, really far. So this is kind of the energy of this. You're in this space to receive. You're in this space, you're healing, you're coming back to your own energy. This energy is poised to return to you. And in this moment, you might feel a bit like this. You might really be feeling like just how much you lost. You might have lost everything to this person. It's interesting that this is the signifier of like, okay, this is something having to do with another person, but what it's really signifying is your true soul signature and the true match for your soul. And also there's again, you know, just to reiterate, there's a strong message of this being a part of your soul mission, because it's like, here we are with a partnership that, you know, played this role, but it played this role for you. It played this role for you because it was part of your earth trek. Your deep earth track. I feel like to pull a goddess card. This is definitely goddess energy. Inanna, the scent of Inanna, you know, Persephone. We go down into those dark places. We're stripped of everything, but then we're just completely naked and raw to receive more than we could ever receive if we were just content in, a normal life. You know, we meet some person and we're happy with them, and we just live our happy lives, and but we never crack, and we can never bring in more of ourselves in those situations. We just stay mediocre. And so it's a deep soul that chooses these deep journeys. And why? Because we want all of us. We want all of us. Okay, so anyway, the goddess, let's bring in one of those. And the goddess energy that takes on, yeah, Isis, rebirth. Look at her. It's like you choose this. We choose this. We choose to take this on because we can. You can, and you're strong. You're strong. Your soul. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. And even the story of Isis and the separation from her masculine. The separation of the feminine and the masculine together, and the journey to bring them back together. Well, what is the true bringing back together? It's bringing back our higher selves with our lower selves, the reunion and the reuniting with the truth and the fullness of who we are. That's when we come into alignment with our masculine and feminine energy, and we become a fractal of that union where we can then attract that in. But how do we do that in a world that's just been hijacked and surface, and we've just been allowed into this tiny little corner of this is what's real, and meanwhile there's all this. And Scorpio wants all this. Scorpio wants all of it. Scorpio wants to go through the deaths, to go through the cracking, to create this empty space for this all to flood in, for this rebirth, for this rise, for the union. Let's see here. I feel like I just can't have enough cards. Okay, King of Pentacles. Yeah, and so this is kind of like, this is the next step, right? This is a card of, they're happy, they're safe, they're in the garden, he's caring for her. This is like your divine masculine energy within yourself that's like, I have you. Yes. We were with this bitch, we were with him, and he did not know how to care for us. He did not know how to do anything but be self-absorbed and project and gaslight. But this is also a reflection of our own kind of like vacant house, like our own inner masculine wasn't quite on board. And why? Because sorry, I always relate to Scorpio readings. You embody so much of this purity, so much of this inherently divine feminine energy, this connection to your soul, that there's a tendency to assume that everyone else has this amount of purity. And that's how we get into these situations, because it's like you have no idea that people can be that dark and that distorted and that uncaring and that sociopathic and whatever it is. It's like you just, you couldn't even fathom it because you're love, your purity. You are, and yet you also have these depths as well in your soul, because you're able to choose and to survive and to go through situations like this. So you have that darkness as well. But anyway, so it's like that divine masculine energy, or the masculine to distorted masculine energy here, is in a sense a reflection of the lack of support that you were able to offer yourself, because it's a confusing journey when you have that much light. Okay, but so this is a card of in a sense reunion of this is your loving divine inner masculine. Okay, it's also a reflection when you have that within, when you've found your masculine within you, then it automatically comes as a reflection outside. Okay, and also this journey very much being a part of that, a part of how you find this, because you learn how to treat yourself, you learn how to care for yourself, you learn how to things get so bad that they blast apart, and then you start over, you have a fresh start, and you do everything in a way that nurtures you and tends to you. So you have your own inner masculine that's taking care of you, that knows how to hold space for you. So that's that's kind of the reward at the end of this journey, because it's a deep holding. It's not just a superficial, worldly, like, oh, I learned the rules and I know how to function in this world, and so I just apply A to Z, and therefore I'm successful, and therefore I make a living, and I have everything that I need because I know how to play the game. No, this is a deep within union of your polarities, where your inner masculine energy is there in every moment, listening to and honoring your own access, this own purity, your own. Didn't we get the Queen of Cups? No, we didn't get the Queen of Cups. Hold on, I'm gonna pull another card because I feel like it's starting to say something else here. Okay, the Knight of Swords. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, this is so great. That's what I was going to say. It's like you have all this access, Knight of Swords. It's like all these messages coming in, and look at him, he's listening, and there's a bird here. So it's like you have these fast messages coming in because you're connected, okay? And without somebody in your life telling you, no, you're wrong, you know, or without even you in your life telling you, no, you're wrong, which maybe is what you did earlier in your life. You just have this clear flow, this clear channel, you know how to receive it, you know how to receive that flow, and you know how to weave it together. So here again is the masculine and the feminine. Your feminine energy brings through these higher thoughts, this higher guidance, this intuition, and your divine masculine is the container that's just like, I hear you, I receive you, I hear you, I receive you. He's not letting that water, you're not letting, but you are so contained within yourself now that you're not letting this water just pour out onto the floor or pour out into somebody that's just vamping off you. No, it's contained within yourself. You're holding it for yourself. You're working it within yourself so that you can have that magic, the magic, the creation energy, where you bring through your guidance, your divine connection, and then you receive it here on the physical earth in your physical vessel, and then you do something with it. That's creation energy, that's empowerment. Let's see what we get here. Wow, okay, so there he is. There's the devil energy. There's the devil energy that wants to keep you trapped. And then of course the devil energy, when we're out of one of these, can also then go into us, because again, it's like we kind of start out this way. We kind of start out not really trusting our own power, because again, when you have this much power and you have this much purity, in a world where most people are just kind of functioning out of like conditioning, and like you just do this, you do that, it's like you just don't know what to do with it. You don't know what to do with it. You can fear your own power. Religions, your culture, society, it's like we get conditioned to fear our power. Not everybody has access to that much power, but when you do, usually it gets kind of squelched. So you become your own dominator, and then you attract a situation with an external dominator, but at least that gives you something to fight against. It becomes externalized, it cracks open, all right, and then we kind of have to meet this one again and be like, oh my God, it's in me, I'm doing the same thing, I'm doing the same thing. So let me get another card. It's kind of intense. Okay. All right, Ace of Pentacles. However, you're on a new path now, and the Ace of Pentacles is a path that you've earned. You've earned, and so you don't have to worry. It's not a page. It's not something like you just got out of this situation, but you might get sucked back in because this one has a hold on you. It's like, no, not only does this one not have a hold on you, the patterns, the echoes of the patterns, like we said, that existed and may still exist in you, also don't have a hold on you, because this again was a divinely timed, destined ending, closure. You're done with this. You're done with this externally, you're done with this internally. So the Ace of Pentacles is a validation of that, because again, this is when you get the Ace of Pentacles, it means that you're solidly on the path because you've done the work and it's integrated. There's no waffling and going back and being confused. You might be in this energy of feeling a little bit vacant right now as you repair and heal and reunite and come back into connection with the purity and the truth of who you are. But this is where you actually are. You actually are on this new path, and it really is over. Now is just about healing and repairing, and just giving yourself that time to kind of feel everything and know that this might kind of like waft up in your own mind. You might find yourself, just kind of playing out some of the stories or the words or the I have so many examples, but just trying to be general, you know, the things you were accused of, right? The negative thoughts that got planted in your head that, again, maybe originated with you. Those things might still be wafting around. But again, the very first energy we started with was the Page of Air, which was like your, you know, those things are clearing away. You know, the clouds are parting. The clouds are parting. There's a lot of the collective energy that keeps weaving through the readings in different ways, you know, kind of depending on what people are talking about. It's really interesting. I keep bringing this up, how seeing the collective energy expressed through the different elements and through the different signs. So it's like the fixed water sign of Scorpio, of course, is going to be going to the bottom and doing these deep alchemies and these deep unpluggings of these patterns. I mean, this stuff, this is in society, you know, this is this is what society is unplugging. This is, why can't I find my words? I feel like you know exactly what I mean. Like, you know exactly what I mean. Like, this is the energy, this is the demon energy that has infiltrated, like, everything in our lives. So those of you who are doing these deep alchemical things of unplugging these patterns within yourself, or unplugging it in the collective energy field as well, there's like this huge, huge, huge service in that. Cactus Run. Huge service in that, and he agrees. What was my point? Hold on. My mind went in so many different directions. Okay, let me just move on. Maybe you know my point. Maybe we're in the same brainwave. Okay, so huge service for the clock. Yes. So of course Scorpio is going to go the whole way down to the bottom, because you can, and you're that powerful, and the depth that you're able and have chosen to go to in this lifetime is literally unplugging these densities within the collective consciousness as you unplug them in yourself. And again, having a external karmic situation to help give you something to maneuver with, so it's not just all in your mind. You know, this person is also in service to you. In a sense, this coming out as the first card, it's like, you know, you two are soul family, even though, you know, they're playing the dark angel in this lifetime. This is a soul mission that you've taken on together. You might not want to hear that right now. That might not be resonant, but, you know, it's just kind of the nature of these things, right? Okay, so they're playing that role for you. Okay, but you know, so the two of you kind of on mission together to do a piece, part of this cosmic play, this human play, to unplug some of this energy, to go deep into that dark energy within yourself and within another person, and all of the horrors that you may have seen and felt in the darkness, and unplugging it within yourself, unplugging it within the collective unconsciousness. Huge, huge service. I feel like you know this. I feel like you absolutely know this, but just to, what's the word? Join in that knowing with you, like to see that and acknowledge that with you. How long did I talk for? Oh my goodness, 22 minutes. Okay, I think I'm going to just do one more animal card, and then we're going to end on that. Okay, hold on. That was too many. Okay. Stag spirit, take the lead. Yeah, I feel like that's just validating that. It's like you're at the helm here. You know, you have that much power. You have that much courage. You have that much integration of light and dark throughout your soul journey, throughout your different lifetimes. You've delved into darkness before. You know, you were probably there during the time of galactic battles. You were probably there, you know, through the witch trials, through, you know, whatever resonates. You know, you've done this over and over and over again. You know how to do this, and you're leading. You're at the forefront of this evolution of consciousness because you chose to do that. So this being a very, very powerful service, powerful passage, because that's who you are. It's who you are. You're the stag. You're leading the way. You're leading the way through the deep dark alchemies that you're doing. So anyway, that's the reading. I'm going to end there. I hope that resonated for you. I'd love to hear if it did. And thank you for listening and joining with me today, and for just being the powerful, badass soul that you are. I do a lot of this stuff too, again, with Scorpio, with my North Node, and when I'm in those spaces, I often think of and feel into the other souls that have signed up for this kind of mission and work and service. And it's like I feel such a telepathic network with the others, because it's a unique path. And you know, you've had it if you ever talk to somebody that's done a similar passage as this. It's like you just have endless telepathy, because it's a certain mission, you know. So anyway, I see you, and yeah, and I look forward to your next reading. Okay, if you join me, I'll see you then. Thank you. Bye-bye.